All right, hello, and welcome. With some recent revelations and with some new resolutions, I've decided exactly what I want to do with the channel. I did the first video, the introduction video, to mainly just upload, just to have something to upload, because I had the channel for a while, and whatever reason I just didn't really upload anything. And of course, the first video was very kind of poorly put together among things, and wasn't really well thought out. I have a much better plan now for future. I spent the better part of that induction after I uploaded the introduction video just trying to figure out, okay, what exactly do I want to do with this channel besides just talk about whiskey history and talk about spirits, about whiskey in general. And I do want this to be primarily a whiskey thing, for at least for the first part. I'll obviously switch some stuff around, but this is going to be primarily whiskey and spirit based. For the whiskey, so I've set up like a few things I'm going to do. I've already set up the playlists for them. I just have to start adding videos for it. But the categories of my videos will be as follows: whiskey history, talking whiskey and whiskey business, world whiskey, mastercrafted, bottom of the bottle, cocktail corner, and rambling hour. The whiskey history videos that I want to do, the ones that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to try to get those to at least once to twice a month, mainly because it's a learning process for me as well. And I want to give myself as much time as possible to make sure that I know the material that I'm talking about, so it comes out a lot more clearly, smoothly, a lot better, a lot more organic than the mess that was the introduction video. So there is that. I do want to make those a bit longer. I don't want them to make them very like short form. I want to make them more long form. I want those videos to at least be an hour or so long, like a good video. Another thing that is they're not going to be like podcast type either. I want these videos to be, as of right now, since I don't have a webcam and I'm not that good with editing software, this is all fairly new to me. Most of these videos are going to be fairly simple. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more editing, but there's going to be no real live. As of right now, there's not going to be a few things that I'm going to do live in forms of communicating with the certain different whiskey communities on YouTube, as well as all over the internet and in the world. For the most part, because I want these things to come out very well and well edited and to come off at least better, is I'm going to edit these videos or at least cut them down a bit so you don't hear the pauses and the ramblings and all that so much. Rehearse what I want to talk about a lot more than I previously did, to be sure. But whiskey history is going to be once to twice a month is what I'm going to try to do. And I am going to start from the beginning, at least from Ireland's and Scotland's perspective, from where whiskey first originated, which was in the 17th century, and then I'm going to come all the way to America. And after that point, it's going to be short stories of areas that I may have missed, and then the obviously history of other countries with their whiskey: Canada, Japan, Taiwan, and so forth. Talking whiskey and whiskey business. This is more long term, but I would like to sit down when I'm talking about whiskey business, which is going to be a type of video. I want to sit down with bartenders, connoisseurs, other geeks, other enthusiasts, collectors. If I ever get a chance to sit down with some of the local distillers in my town and actually just talk whiskey with them, see what they think of the current market, how things are going on, what they think the future is going to look like. Talking whiskey, or whiskey ramblings is what I call it, is what I might call it, is just going to be, it's going to be me and a few friends or some people that I want to talk to, just talking about whiskey, what's their experience with whiskey, any good stories. Because there's a YouTuber called Whiskey Friend, and his saying is the pleasure is in the sharing, which is fairly true. And concerning the spirit, part of the pleasure is in the sharing, part of the pleasure is in the drinking. I would definitely like to do that. Maybe get a few of my fellow friends and co-workers and all that, get together, and if they would allow it to me to record a conversation of just us talking about whiskey, talking about good stories, and simple stuff with that. World whiskey is another thing that I'm going to try to get a better name for that, but it's going to be short form videos on whiskeys popping up in other countries that are doing whiskey that are out of the top 3 and the top 5. The top 5 countries that do whiskey as of right now, though it might be top 6 because Taiwan is doing a really good job right now. They're catching up, as well as India. But it's Japan, Canada, America, the United States of America, Scotland, and Ireland. Those are the top 5. The top 3 mainly are Scotland, Ireland, and America, United States. And the other two are Canada and Japan. But Taiwan is also doing some really cool stuff. The Taiwan whiskey is really good. They're doing a lot of interesting stuff. And India is doing some pretty cool stuff as well. But not to the extent that all the other places are doing. That'll be, I'll get a different word for world whiskey. The thing after that is going to be mastercrafted. These are going to be a bit more long form videos, maybe medium form. But it's going to be me, basically, it's going to be kind of me really geeking out about specific distilleries, specific bottles of whiskey, and maybe the master distillers behind the bottle, like Jimmy Russell or Richard Patterson. Richard Patterson is of Dallimore Highland Scotch. Jimmy Russell and his son Eddie Russell are a part of the Wild Turkey family. But I also would like to just talk about like the impact of those whiskeys specifically and how they've impacted the market so far. Because out in California, to my knowledge, at least out here, there's not a lot of people that I know that are big Wild Turkey fans. A lot of the normal people that the most normal people that drink whiskey, they always think of like Jack Daniels or Jim Beam. But every time I go to a bar, like most bars out here, the main whiskey that they use, like base spirit, if they're going to make a old fashioned, is Wild Turkey 101 every time. It's what most bars use out here in Southern California. And it's just, I don't know a lot of people that know a lot about the Eddie and Jimmy Russell history and how how old Jimmy is and how long he's been working in the whiskey industry and so forth and that's on. So that's going to be mastercrafted. It's going to be looking at very specific bottles and distilleries like Wild Turkey, Buffalo Trace, Dallimore, Glenfiddich, Talisker, all these big brands that I just really am fond of, and I just really want to talk about in detail of why I like them, why they are important to the whiskey industry, what they have done that has shaped the whiskey industry, and all the interesting stuff they have done in the future. Not what they have planned for the future, but what they did, what shaped whiskey in some sense. Like Jimmy Russell is known as the father of bourbon, or at least that's what Anyways, long story. I'm not going to go into the history of Wild Turkey. The normal bottom of the bottle episodes, and this is going to be the most prolific video on the channel. You're going to see a lot of these are basic bottles and whiskey tasting and reviews. Going to grab a bottle, going to taste it, tell you the notes. Very short form, at most maybe 5 minutes long. I don't want to give like a super long, detailed description about it. If there is some history within the bottle, then they might be like a 10-minute video, but I really just want to keep it very short, sweet, and to the point. So bottom of the bottle is going to be the tasting and consuming whiskey part of this channel. Drink responsibly. And that's going to be the most prolific, the biggest type of video on this channel is going to be that. If I ever do it, sometimes I do host tastings because, man, I just want to host a party sometimes, and I'm not a big party guy, but when I do host a party, I like it being a whiskey tasting party, or a spirit tasting. I'll bring certain rums or tequilas, and I like to share that among friends. I'll bring down 2 or 3 of my bottles, and whoever I invite, and it's invitation only, but whoever I invite, they have to at least bring 1 bottle of their own that they want to try and share among friends and family, and I do that there. So if I ever have a chance, because I don't have any like cameras or tripods that I can use at this moment in time, once I get those, then I may record one of those events just so you can see both me in person and just whiskey tasting with other people as well, how other people taste whiskey and handle it compared to someone who's fairly seasoned in the matter. The thing that I am going to do, and it is most likely going to be live, is going to be the rambling hours, what I'm going to call it. It's just going to be me, 1 hour, pour myself something nice, and just talk about it, talk about very specific things that I don't either think that they need a full edited video for or a full like script for, because even right now I do have like a minor bullet points in front of me just to make sure I get my head straight. Yeah, that it's just gonna be me maybe addressing parts of the channel, things I can improve. I do want to get a Discord going. If that gets going really well, then I want to definitely operate it I want to kind of operate it as such. I want to operate it where I could get maybe like a few people in on the Discord, record it, and just talk about whiskey with either fans of the channel if I ever get to that point where I actually have a decent subscriber base, or just me and a few friends geeking out about whiskey, which is one of my favorite things to do. But that's it. That's what I have planned. I'll leave some stuff in the description as well. I'll leave a Whiskey Friends channel in the description as well. I like him a lot. He's a Scotsman or Irishman that just reviews a lot of whiskey. He American and Scot and Irish. He does a bunch of stuff. It's really cool. And yeah, this is it. This is the plan for now. If I have any plans to edit this in the future, I'll let you know. But for at least a while, I'm going to try to stick to these things. Oh, I missed something. I did miss something. Cocktail Corner. Cocktail Corner is something I'm going to do because I am an inspiring bartender. Is I'm going to do a videos about whiskey cocktails and at least very popular cocktails. Mainly whiskey. It's going to be whiskey cocktails, but how whiskey kind of shaped these cocktails, like the Manhattan, the Old Fashioned, and even some of these cocktails, such as like the Old Fashioned, was actually originally a gin drink, and then just when it came over here, it got moved to whiskey. Similarly with like Manhattan, mint julep, where all these drinks came from. Just because it's going to be nice, it'd be fun. Those would be an actual video that I record, and I'll talk a brief history on the cocktail, and then actually make it, and maybe do some variations on it as well. I have several books on whiskey cocktails. I have a plethora amount. Some that are just from certain places like the Dead Rabbit and Death and Company in New York. I bought their books, as well as just normal cocktail books and cocktail recipe books, old and new. Nightcaps and all that. So that's another thing I'm going to do, and once I get a decent camera, which I will work on in the future, then that will be a thing. But that's all I have planned for now. I'll do channel updates every now and then, just to keep you guys in the loop. I do want to create. I'll also put up a small video when I create a bottom of the bottle Discord. I'll set that up. I don't know how that. I don't use Discord, weirdly enough. For being a very young person, I don't know what Discord really is. I probably even sound weird right now, but yeah. Anyhow, that's all I have to say for now. Have a good day, and cheers.